Yes, YouTube, welcome back to episode number 2 of the prep series. Today, we've got a full day of eating and a pull day on the cards. Pull and legs are the only two things that I can train properly at the moment because I've got a janky right shoulder. I've got a problem with my rotator cuff, and I've also got a winged scapula, which is not ideal at the start of prep. Went to see a physio a few days ago just for a consultation, and I'm booked in again next Wednesday. Today is Friday to hopefully get that sorted out. So far, things are going absolutely swimmingly. The weight is literally flying off. I clocked in this morning at 98.5. When I started my prep, I was 103. And at my heaviest, probably a month before, I was sitting at 105. So from my peak bulk body weight, 6.5 kilos down, which is a lot. Granted, most of that will be water, which obviously needs to come off before I can start to chip away at the body fat. But my legs are already noticeably leaner. Abs, a tiny bit leaner. My back is still obese. Like my back is always the last part to sort of be stripped off of the fat. So just clocking in some AM steps. Obviously, I'm on 15k steps a day. I try and get the majority done first thing in the morning because I don't really like getting later on in the day and having loads of steps looming over me, because I want to spend, well, later on in the day doing some work, really, working on my business. So I'm going to get these steps nailed and then I'll meet you in the kitchen for meal number 1. Right then, we're in for brekkie, which is the same pretty much every day. On a rest day, eggs and egg whites. On a training day, eggs, egg whites and bagel. So that's what we've got for meal number 1, and then I've got a little bit of a work block to do, and then we've got my pre-workout meal, which will be before I go in for my session. Whipping these bad boys up. Just want to touch on goals. Now, obviously I've been bulking for a while. I've got this goal to compete on stage, and having that goal there and having an end date is such a good source of motivation. Like, I speak to so many fellas and they've not got a definite goal that they're aiming for, and they've not got a time constraint to work towards. And not having that time constraint, you've got no urgency. And if you've got no urgency, you're going to be a little bit more slack and a little bit more lenient. So you may miss a meal, or you may miss some steps, or you may miss some cardio. You're essentially just reinforcing a weak mindset purely from just not setting a goal. So if you're watching this and you want to get in better shape, you want to lose fat, you want to build muscle, whatever you want to do, with whatever phase you're going into, give yourself a goal, set an end date. It's only going to help you out by creating that urgency. Bon appetit then, peeps. Breakfast has been served. I've also got a little bit of salt. Should be putting salt on your meals. I feel like so many people are a little bit wary and scared of putting salt on the meals, but sodium is an electrolyte, which you need. You need electrolytes to stay hydrated. Hydration goes far beyond just drinking water, so yeah, you need some electrolytes. So salt your meals, don't have to put loads on, but just make sure you've got a little bit on there. And then we've also got 15 grams of ketchup. Weigh out your sauces, people. Ketchup is okay because it's fairly low calorie, but things like salad cream, mayo, they're so high in calories. Like, if you're trying to lose weight and you're not tracking those, they can very easily add 300 to 500 calories onto what you're already consuming. And then that's you looking at the scale thinking, oh, why is it not going down? It's not going down because you're eating 500 calories worth of sauce every day. It's obviously going to keep you stuck. This is why it's so important to literally just track everything. Everything that you put in your mouth, liquids other than water, sauces, foods, you need to log everything so you know exactly what you're consuming. And then you can work out your deficit and you can actually lose some fat. So 15 grams of ketchup, which is quite a lot, to be honest. Check that bad boy out. Beautiful. Starting off the day right. Bit of protein, a little bit of healthy fats, some carbs coming from the bagel. Literally perfect for a breakfast. Time for work block number 1, peeps. Just before 9 AM, black coffee at the ready to help me suppress my appetite. I've also got some water with some electrolytes in. Electrolytes, I would say, are an essential supplement. Like, if you've got the spare money, get some electrolytes because hydration is so important. So I've got a couple of calls now. I've got a catch-up call with one of the boys that's currently on the team, and then I've got a call with one of the boys that's been with me before but decided to crack on his own, and he's basically come to me and he said he needs the accountability. He's got a holiday in a couple of months, wants to get lean for it, so we're going to have a little call just to run things through and get him back on board. And then it'll be time to fire out a few DMs, respond to some messages, and it'll be time for meal number 2. Meal number 2 of the day, which is a pre-workout meal. We've got the absolute staple Crumpets jam dark chocolate. We've also got tuna and rice with a little bit of salad cream on. All tracked, all measured, so I'm on point with my calories. I'm about to just stick on a series. There's a new series that I've been watching called Nemesis, which has been made by the same people that created the series Power, which is one of my favourite series. So if you're looking for a Netflix series to watch, give that a whirl. There's also a series that I've just finished called Legends. Wow. It's only 6 episodes, but it's unreal. I'm going to scan this, and then I need to make my pre-workout shake. I need to let this digest for 45 minutes to an hour, so I'm just going to crack on with a little bit more work in between. Time to hit a naughty little pull day. I've got my pre-workout locked and loaded. I've not had a pre-workout, my own pre-workout in, genuinely it's been years, but I thought, with me going into prep, energy's bound to be a little bit low, a little bit later on into the process. Thought I'd get myself some, so I've got Conte Sports Conviction Elite, I think is the name. Basically, I want to just be stimmed off of my rocker. I like the tingles, that's what I'm after in a pre. I don't want some mellow little melt of a pre-workout, I want to be hit like an absolute train. So I'm going to get this down. I've got a 10-minute journey to the gym. Let's get cracking. Right then, we are in for upper, kicking things off with a single arm lat pull down. I always start my sessions off with some form of primer. So this will be an isolation exercise, typically unilateral, so doing one arm at a side. This is to get my body nice and warm and to get my head in the game. I see so many people that head into the gym and they just dive straight into working sets, and it's the worst thing that you can do. Spending a little bit of time just genuinely warming up and getting yourself ready for the session makes a massive difference in terms of your focus. So with this lift, focusing on full range of motion, keeping all of the tension on the lats. Heading on to some deadlifts. Now, I've got a love and hate relationship with these. My lower back has been a problem for me in the past, but after these, I just worked up to one working set. My lower back was feeling absolutely sound, so I was happy with this set. Push to failure, working at with a decent weight, so I'm happy. On to exercise number 3, which for today is a horizontal row. To target the upper back, focusing on stretching the upper back muscles as much as I possibly can, and then I'm driving them back and then driving my elbows back. I'm essentially squeezing my shoulder blades together as hard as I possibly can to keep the tension on the upper back. Sticking on the same machine, hogging the machine, you hate to see it, but it needs to be done. Onto a single arm horizontal row. Now this is to bias the upper lats. Again, focusing on keeping my elbow nice and tight, little bit of supination, so twisting my wrist inwards to help keep my elbow in nice and tight to my body. And I'm just driving my elbow straight back, deep into my pocket, coming to where my arm is just in line with my ribs. I'm not going past because that takes tension away from the lats. And ultimately just taking that to failure. Now, for the last back exercise today, we've got a neutral grip pull down. Again, an exercise that I love. It's been a staple in my plan genuinely for years, and it's just one that I connect really well with. But again, one that I see a lot of fellas messing up on. So you want to reach towards the ceiling, allow your shoulder blades to raise up, to extend up towards the ceiling so you can get a full stretch on the lats, and then squeeze down. But remember not to round your shoulders forward. So for most people, the max range of motion is going to be bring the bar down to your chin, get a squeeze on the lats, and then raise to the ceiling to stretch your lats and get the most out of that movement. Now, to finish off the session, hitting some arms. So we've got a preacher curl. Machine preacher curl, again, love this exercise. The mind muscle connection for me is elite. So we've got 2 sets on here, top set, back off set structure, just like everything else, taking that to failure. And that is the session wrapped up. Yes, then people, pull day wrapped up. That was a great session, to be honest. Really good session. Got deads back in, only doing one working set at the moment because got a dodgy lower back. I've got a bulging disc, which is L5S1, and then one of my discs down there is just generally weak, like it's quite damaged. So I need to be a little bit cautious when I'm doing my hip hinges. That was a success. Great session. So before we head on to my post-workout meal, got some deliveries. I don't think this is gym related. Oh, it is, sort of. This is just a little bit of admin. So, I don't know if you can see by my bottle, but it's deformed. It's a little bit deformed. I was trying to clean it out with water from the kettle. I did put some cold water in first, but it was just a little bit too hot. So, got myself a new bottle. It's the exact same one. If you go to the gym regularly, you should have a jug. It just saves filling your bottle up multiple times a day. Like, you should be drinking, say for everyone, at least 3 litres. I drink around 5-6. You don't need to drink 5-6, but you should be having a lot of water. So if you have 2 of these a day, you're golden. Saves you filling up your bottle. Next up, we've got, looking forward to using this, to be honest. This is a new tripod for my camera. The tripod that I bought was quite expensive, and it's a good one. But the way that it sits on the tripod, if you want to film vertically, which is what you do for reels and shorts on Instagram, I don't know what you call it, the little thing that rotates the camera, basically it's snapped. So I can't film vertically because the camera sits like that. So I've ordered a new tripod. Fingers crossed this one doesn't break, because it's annoying having to keep buying new tripods when they should work. I've also forgot that I ordered this. Oh, so this is an SD card for the camera that I'm actually filming on right now. So I bought the DJI Osmo Pocket 4, which is what I'm filming on now. It actually came out on my birthday. It's unbelievable. Like, if you want a camera to film like trips with your missus or to do some vlogs, I don't know how many of you will be vlogging, but it's the best camera. It's so convenient. You just whip it out, it tracks your face so it moves around. There's a little light that you can attach on the top if it's dark. Just an unreal camera. I've also got some, this is just like pure admin. So these are like, they're called magazine racks. It's just basically to hold my notebooks so I can store them, because I've just been slapping them on the floor. I want to be a little bit more organized. It's a little bit messy. And then in there, got some notepads, my learning, getting the knowledge in. So that's my unboxing done. It's time to head on to meal number 3, which is my post-workout meal. I was going to say pre-workout meal. So post-workout, this has been a staple genuinely for a couple of years since I've been on board with Reese, who's my coach. So 2 crumpets with 40 grams of jam. And then we've got 160 grams of Cocoa Pops with a whey protein shake in there. A lot of people, when they first hop on board with me and they start working with me, I have on their plan post-workout some cereal and a protein shake with water, not with any milk. And they read it and they're like, cereal with water? Sounds disgusting, but if you get some protein powder that's good quality and actually tastes nice, the cereal tastes nice as well. I mean, I'm being deadly serious. Like, I look forward to eating this meal because it genuinely does taste nice. So I'll pop up the calories and macros on the screen, and that's going to wrap it up for this little segment. I will catch you for meal number 4. This is meal number 4 on a training day. Not going to lie, it's not the prettiest meal, but definitely tastes better than it looks, and it does the job. So we've got 55 grams of oats, 1 banana, 20 grams of dark chocolate, and 50 grams of whey protein. You're going to pop up the calories and macros on the screen. This is my favourite meal of the day, by far. Again, not the prettiest, but this is the only sweet meal that I do have on a training day. So it's the one I look forward to most. I never really get sick of eating the same foods. Like, I've been eating chicken and rice, beef and rice, bagels, eggs, oats for the best part of 5 years. So it's just something that I do. And I genuinely do look forward to all of my meals when I'm cutting, like when I'm in a bulk and I'm pushing food volume and I'm just not hungry. Obviously, I don't enjoy my food. No one does at that point. But when I'm in a deficit and I'm starting to get a little bit hungry, this is the golden meal. This is the bad boy that I'm looking forward to. So I'm going to eat this. The time is currently 5 to 5 p.m. So I'm going to have this one. I'll probably have my next meal at around 7:30, and that will give me a couple of hours before bed to let my last meal digest, get into my system, and then it shouldn't be disrupting my sleep. A problem that a lot of people run into, especially people who work 9 to 5 and then they train after work, is eating too close to bedtime. So if you do that and food is still digesting when you're going to sleep, it can disrupt your sleep a little bit. So if you're watching this video when you get into bed at the end of the day and you've just eaten your last meal close to when you're going to sleep and you're struggling to go to sleep or to stay asleep, that could potentially be why, so something to bear in mind. Time to eat this little rude boy. Meal number 5 to wrap up the video. I'm pretty hungry right now. I'm not gonna lie, the hunger is starting to kick in. I've lost a good amount of weight, moving a lot, doing a lot of steps, doing a lot of cardio. Your boy is getting hungry. But before I show you this meal, when losing fat, losing weight, hunger is a sign that what you're doing is working. So many fellas shy away or just completely reject that feeling of hunger and end up binging and eating more than they should do. You cannot get lean, you cannot get into great shape or elite shape without feeling hunger for a considerable period of time. So if you are currently cutting, trying to get lean for summer, embrace being hungry. Try and view it as a positive, thinking, right, I'm hungry. That means that what I'm doing is working. I'm going to be losing weight and ultimately stripping off body fat and getting lean. Now, No, it's not always the most pleasant feeling, especially when you're maybe going to bed and you're hungry going to bed, but it's something that must happen and you just need to embrace it. Have a little bit of discipline and a little bit of grit about you and it'll get you a long way. So meal number 5 is chicken, 140 grams, carrots, 100 grams, broccoli, 100 grams, and then 200 grams of a raw potato with a little bit of BBQ sauce on there. So that's going to wrap up the full day of eating. I'm going to pop up the calories and macros on the screen. That's going to be it, peeps. So if you've enjoyed this video, drop me a like, drop me a comment with any questions. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to my channel right now. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.